Hi guys, I'm glad you're here with me today. Well, not here, but here with me online. It's so cool that even when we can't be together in person, we can still spend time learning about God and the Bible together. So let's get started with some worship.
There in the valley, I have all that I need. When fear is surrounding, your love guarding me. Goodness and mercy have never forsaken me. Oh, you've gone before me, you've scattered my enemies. I'll rest in the hope of your promise. You are good and your love, it will never change. No, you never change. I am found in the midst of your presence, where your grace will pursue me for all my days. For all my days. Covered by your shadow, in your arms I am free. Won't worry about tomorrow, your light is leading me. Goodness and mercy have never forsaken me. You've gone before me, you scattered my enemy. Oh, yeah. I'll rest in the hope of your promise. You are good and your love, it will never change. No, you never change. I am found in the midst of your presence, where your grace will pursue me for all my days. For all my days. Because of who you are, because of what you've done, death has lost its grip on me. I won't fear the night. You have brought me life. By your blood I am redeemed. Because of who you are, because of what you've done, death has lost its grip on me. I won't fear the night. You have brought me life. By your blood I am redeemed. I'll rest in the hope of your promise. You are good and your love, it will never change. No, you never change. I am found in the midst of your presence, where your grace will pursue me for all my days. For all my days. Oh, yeah. For all my days.
Over the past few weeks, we've heard how God freed his people from slavery, brought them into the desert, and gave them his laws so that they would know how to honor him as the one true God. God loved his people, called them his own, and led them through the desert to meet with him at Mount Sinai. God showed his people who he is. He wanted them to know that he is the one true God who has all power. God wanted his people to know that he is their deliverer and protector. Before we get to today's part of the big God story, let's say a new remember verse together. With a mighty hand and outstretched arm, his love endures forever. Psalm 136:12. As the Israelites traveled through the desert, God also desired to be close with his people. He desired to dwell with them. When we talk about God dwelling with his people, we're talking about how he comes near to his people in a special way. Exodus 25:8-9 says, "Then have them make a sanctuary for me, and I will dwell among them. Make this tabernacle and all its furnishings exactly like the pattern I will show you." A tabernacle is like a big tent. With the tabernacle, God would dwell with his people. Now, does God actually live in a house or a tent or some other kind of building? No, he's God, so actually he's everywhere. But when he chose to dwell among his people, his presence came into the tabernacle. That means he came close to his people in a special way so they could spend time with him. God gave very specific instructions about how to build the tabernacle and asked for many different items. The people brought fabric to make beautiful curtains to hang inside the tabernacle. They brought incense and spices to burn and to create a nice smell. They brought olive oil to burn in special gold lamps. The walls of the tent were boards covered in gold. Beautiful blue, purple, and red fabric covered the gold walls. Using many beautiful items, the Israelites built a tabernacle where God's presence would dwell among his people. The people could come inside the courtyard or the outside area of the tabernacle and spend time with God. But that's not all. God also told his people to make something called the Ark of the Covenant. If you remember, we've talked about this before in the past. Some of you weren't here for those lessons. But God told them in Exodus 25:10-11, have them make an ark of acacia wood, 2.5 cubits long, 1.5 cubits wide, and 1.5 cubits high. Overlay it with pure gold, both inside and out, and make a gold molding around it. God's presence would dwell above the ark. The ark sat in a room called the Holy of Holies, and a curtain separated it from everyone else. God is holy, or set apart, which means he can't dwell with sin. And sin separates people from God, and that's what the curtain represented. Once the people finished the tabernacle, following all of the specific instructions God gave them, God's presence came down on top of it in a form of a cloud. Exodus 40, verses 33-35 and 38 says, "Then Moses set up the courtyard around the tabernacle and the altar, and put up a curtain at the entrance to the courtyard. And so Moses finished the work, and the cloud covered the tent of meeting, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. Moses could not enter the tent of meeting because the cloud had settled on it, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. So the cloud of the Lord was over the tabernacle by day, and fire was in the cloud by night, in the sight of all the Israelites during their travels." I wonder what it must have looked like to see a cloud in the day and fire lighting up the cloud at night. God didn't leave his people to wonder if he was dwelling with them. The cloud and fire showed them again that he was always with them. God chose to dwell with his people. His presence was inside the tabernacle and could be seen in the cloud and fire. But God desired to be even closer to his people. hundreds of years later, God the Father sent his Son, Jesus, to die on the cross and rise again so people didn't have to be separated from God because of their sins. Remember, like I said, God can't dwell with sin. Jesus came to dwell inside us when we chose to trust in him. Jesus comes to dwell inside of us when we choose to trust him. Now, that doesn't mean Jesus is actually inside of us, but it means Jesus is close. He wants to be with us. If you've asked Jesus to live in your heart, in your life, God dwells in you. His presence, his spirit. That means he's always with you. So this week I have a challenge for you. We aren't supposed to keep Jesus to ourselves. Remember, we are here so that Jesus can dwell with us, but one day we're going to be in heaven with God. And we want other people to have that opportunity too. We need to share this great news about Jesus with other people. So I want to challenge you to find a way to be a light to someone this week. That means find a way to show or to tell people about Jesus' love and what he did for them so they don't have to be separated from God. Maybe talk to your parents and see what ideas you can come up with. I hope you guys have a great week, and I hope to hear from you about ways that you've come up with to be a light for people around you. I'll see you guys next time.